I'll begin with this lovely experience of this tuning fork. Did I tell you last time?
No.
I was telling you about Swami's spontaneity, Garna Lola, that Bhagavan is. And every time when Swami sings, it's very spontaneous. He doesn't wait for the harmonium to keep a scale. He doesn't wait whether the tabla is on tune. He completes his discourse and straight away launches into the bhajan. Like, Govinda Krishna Jai. Straight away he would sing. And then we would be in raptures, and those of us who were playing harmonium and tabla, we would very loudly bang the harmonium and tabla to give him company, thinking that we have to support him. So all of us, we are supporting the master of the universe. And in doing that, invariably we would feel that Swami is singing out of scale. Because whenever we kept the harmonium, we kept scale, it was so difficult to search Swami's scale here, and ultimately we wouldn't find it. And sometimes, many times, this is an open confession, I also felt that Swami is in between two notes, Kan Swara and Apaswara. And this used to haunt me for a long, long time. Why is the master of the universe, the Lord of the Murali Gana Lola, singing out of scale? It doesn't, his voice doesn't match the scale on the harmonium. And then I used to feel that these instruments are made by human beings, and maybe they didn't tune it up properly. I used to feel, and that is where I used to end it, and still I never would be that satisfied with that answer. Now it so happened recently, the Radio Sai team, they wanted to bring out a special album featuring Swami's bhajan sung by Swami in his voice. To do that, they selected around 12 bhajans of Swami, sung by him, and they composed beautiful music, background music, to suit those songs. And the music was recorded and brought to Prashant Line. The tracks, they tried to match with Swami's voice. Swami's voice also was digitized. When they tried to match, it was a mismatch. It didn't really match with the soundtrack. So they thought, should we transpose and bring it up to, or scale it down a bit, a few tones, microtones down, and match it with Swami. But Dhananjay, the sound engineer in Prashant Line, one of our students, he was not at all happy, not content with what he had discovered. He thought, how could the master go out of scale? So he did his own research, and I have been sharing this in a few places also. I feel this is so important, so I'm sharing this with you. He did his research on the internet, and what we call our teacher, the universal teacher, Guru, Google Maharaj. So there he typed singing on scale and all that. And ultimately he came out with so many explanations and so much history behind it. The scale that the whole world is stuck to today as a standard scale, A is 440 Hertz. He discovered that. And he also discovered that prior to the mid-90s, mid-20th century, 1940 before that, the standard scale used to be 432 Hertz. And when he came to know that, he did some further study into it, and he discovered that 440 was recognized by the Americans and by the Germans as the standard scale. A is equal to 440 Hertz. And that was standardized. And it was the unnatural scale, the unnatural frequency, sound frequency. And he discovered that 432 was the sound of nature, the frequency to which whole of nature is attuned to. And 440 was definitely detrimental to human health, both physical and mental. It would create lot of mental turbulences, and it was in fact a few people in this world, maybe with negative intentions, they had set this as a standard scale, and it was a type of deceit against humanity. And we had unfortunately taken that as the standard, our standard, A 440 Hz. And this is, and he found a tuning fork which is tuned to 432 Hz, and this is the sound. Imagine all the great maestros, all the great symphonies of the world are attuned to 440 Hz. And this is the natural scale, the natural frequency to which the flowing of a river, the shuffling of leaves, the falling of leaves, the wind blowing, everything is attuned in nature, everything attuned to this frequency. And when he realized that, he bought this, and then he tried to match Swami's voice with this, and it was a total exact 100% match. Swami's voice was completely tuned to the sound of nature. And why would it not be? Why wouldn't it be? Because Swami is the master of, that shows that Swami is the Lord, the creator of nature, the power, the synergy behind this nature. And that is why, despite all the din and noise that we were making to tell Swami, Swami, this is the scale, you are out. Swami would be singing and we would be banging the harmonium, trying to misguide Swami, trying to tell Swami, trying to teach Swami, trying to tell God how to be God. This is what we have been doing quite often. And in this context, when I heard about this in that studio, I just broke down. Because I remembered all those moments when I also was a part of this terrible mistake that Swami is out of scale and not on scale.